Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please, as we go through.
What's going on, everybody? Joe Munoz, OneStepPrep.com. Hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Coming to you here from our relatively new studio. I hope if you're in Miami at some point, you drop by and say hello to us here, and maybe we record a video with you here while we're at it. Hey, look, I want to talk to you about something in type rating training, which is the elements, right? Some of the things that we see with pilots in the sim very frequently. And there's typically one of maybe 4 types of pilots. Maybe there's another video where I talked about this already, but it essentially goes a little something like this. You know, when we're flying jets, we have to not only fly the plane, but we also have the script. We have call-outs. We have procedures and profiles and what have you. But specifically here, I want to talk about the call-outs for a minute. So for example, on a single engine go-around on a 737, we're going to say go-around, right? Set go-around thrust flaps 1. Positive rate gear up, 400 feet. We engage a lateral mode. A roll mode specifically could be heading select, could be LNAP. 1,000 feet, we accelerate, speed 210 typically, and then we begin the flap retraction. These are all call-outs. The positive rate gear up, 400 feet heading select, 1,000 feet bug up, or speed 210. These are all call-outs. And you see what ends up happening is we oftentimes run into one of these 4 types of pilots. Now let me take you through them. The first type of pilot can fly a great airplane, forgets all the call-outs, doesn't know the call-outs. Airplane, stick and rudder skills, spot on. But actually call-outs that need to be paired with the stick and rudder ability, the call-outs are lacking. That's pilot number 1. Pilot number 2, call-outs are perfect. Woo! This person sounds like a well-rehearsed actor going through a script and it sounds crispy clean, but the problem is they don't have the stick and rudder skills to match. So you have one person that can fly, can't do the call-outs, got another person that can do the call-outs, can't fly. Here's pilot number 3, the person can't fly, or the person cannot do the call-outs. Okay, this is really the toughest one where the person has stick and rudder deficiencies and also call-out deficiencies as well. And of course, the 4th type of pilot, which is ultimately what we strive to train for and strive to be, is the pilot that has a high level of competency, stick and rudder, high level of stick and rudder skills, and a high level of competency with the call-outs. So you can not only fly, but you can also do your call-outs. Now, I can tell you, if you have you're going to fall into one of these categories, right? And the one preferably that we like to see in training is number 4, where you can fly the airplane and you can do the call-outs. But inevitably at some point we run into a student that has a deficiency in one of these 2. The one that's easier to correct is the deficiency of the call-outs. You see, because it doesn't require a simulator. Call-outs can be perfected in a room just like this. I can literally sit here in your bedroom, in your hotel, wherever you're at. You can sit here and chair fly. You've heard that term before, chair fly. You can go through the procedures through the call-outs. I can literally sit here and mentally picture myself doing a go-around and saying, go-around, set go-around, thrust flaps 1, positive rate gear up, 400 feet heading select, 1,000 feet, speed 210 or bug up, whatever your company has you call. I can actually chair fly this scenario. But you see, one thing I want you to be aware of is that sometimes I tell my students, hey man, let's chair fly this thing, come back tomorrow or come back the next day for your next session and we're going to see this improvement on your call-outs. And of course, you come back and you're like, yeah man, I studied, I'm ready to roll. And then when you sit in the sim, for some reason, right when that single engine go-around comes, all these perfect call-outs that you were calling out beautifully, you were singing, you sound like a bird. And all of a sudden, where'd they go? What happened to all your call-outs, man? They disappeared, they're gone. You go to the go-around, you say go-around, set go-around thrust, and you forget the flap setting. Maybe instead of calling flaps 1, you go to 5. Or maybe you just say flaps 15 because that's the typical go-around setting for doing a 2-engine approach, right? I'm talking 737 here. Of course, in a 320, it's always go-around flaps. You don't have to worry about it, right? But the point is that, you see, when you're training call-outs, there's phases that you want to go through. And I talk about this in the Type Rating Playbook to Success, which you can grab at OneStepPrep.com. It's the number 1, not spelled out. It's the number one, OneStepPrep.com/playbook, where I talk about how you want to train your call-outs in various phases. I'm going to share them with you here. The first thing is, of course, just road memorization. You're going to go through them over and over and over and over and over again until it's literally second nature. You can basically recite them without even thinking about them. You can unconsciously recite call-outs, and this goes into the ladder of competence, levels of competence, the highest of which being unconscious competence. This is also a big discussion I go through in our in-person training events as well as my playbook. So you can unconsciously recite the call-outs, right? That's the first thing. Now the next thing is you can unconsciously recite them as long as you're not distracted, but the second you get distracted, now all of a sudden you get pulled back into having to consciously recite them, and this is what happens to folks in the sim. They say it perfectly while they're training in their home or in their hotel rooms, and when they show up to simulator training, they end up actually not being able to recite them as clean as they just did, for the simple reason that now they have a distraction, which happens to be fly the plane. So what I encourage you to do is first recite them with rote memorization, just over and over again with no distractions, and then we introduce a distraction. And a relatively cheap, cost-effective way for you to do this is grab a flat surface, much like this planner that I have, throw a marker on top of it, and just roll it back and forth and do your call-outs while you focus on rolling the marker. So this would very simply be in the case of a single-engine go-around 737. It's going to be go-around, set, go-around thrust, flaps 1, positive brake, gear up, 400 feet, heading select, 1,000 feet, bug up, or speed 210 as appropriate for your company. We're going to begin the flap retraction. Flaps are going to come up, flaps up, no lights, level change, set max continuous thrust. I literally go back and forth with the marker while I'm doing the call outs. Why? Because this requires conscious effort and attention, which is a very cost-effective way of modeling flying the plane, diverting attention, right? Whilst I unconsciously do the call outs. And if you can do this, now at least we solve the call out piece. The challenge really becomes, at least from the instructor perspective, when we have a student that is a little bit struggling or deficient, more so in the part of the stick and rudder skills, because now that typically boils down to the scan, where usually I'll have the student actually get out of the level D or level C sim we're training in and actually maybe go to a desktop simulator if it happens to be an issue of scan. I don't think you need a level D sim to practice your scan. You can do that on a desktop sim, much like what I have on this desk here. But then there's solutions for that. So whether you're deficient here or there or perhaps in both, there's always a solution, and it's the job of the instructor to facilitate and guide you in that direction, all right? And I know certainly that's what we would do for you here at One Step Prep. So hey, a couple of big announcements. We had a great A320 class. We're also doing a 737 class. I want to give you some dates here that you can jot down, put them in your planner, as I do carry a planner like this. I always have a planner with me. Let's see, June 28th, 29th, and 30th. June 28th, 29th, and 30th, we're doing a 3-day A320 Systems and Operations class. We just held one in May. It was a wild success. We had pilots from every company you can think of. Spirit, Allegiant. We had a gentleman that was flying for another carrier here in Miami. A live stream that was running, so if you can't attend in person, you can of course just join the live stream. The link for this, onestepprep.com/3 days. onestepprep.com/3 days. Is where you're going to find that. Now, in July, we also have a class for the 737. It's going to be July 19th, 20, and 21. July 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's a 3-day 737 Systems and Operations class where we're going to be going through very similar things as what we're doing for the A320 class. So, hey, I hope to see you there. Whether that's in person or whether it's virtual, onestepprep.com/3 days is the link. If you go there and it does indeed say A320, but you're intending to enroll in the 737 course, don't worry, enroll anyways, because what's going to happen is Shally will reach out to you and we will plug you in appropriately to the course of your choosing. All right, so hey, look forward to seeing you there, and I look forward to putting out another video shortly here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all our social media channels. If you're not following us, please go do so. We do very much appreciate your love and support, and we look forward to seeing you here in Miami at some point in the very near future.